Hi, I'm Zoe Card, Associate Director from Knowledge Exchange UK, and I'm here today with the award winners from the 2024 Sustainability Collaboration of the Year category. This is the Green Future Investments Limited funds at Cranfield University. In short, we'll refer to them as GFIL. With me today is Dr. Juliette Kaufmann, Cranfield University's manager of the GFIL Future Frontiers Fund and the Technology Accelerator Fund, Professor Stephanie Hussett from Cranfield University, Director of the GFIL Entrepreneurship Fund, and James Berry, Head of Strategy at Green Future Investments Limited, GFIL. So thank you all for being with me this morning. I'd like you first, if I may, Stephanie, if you could just talk to us about your project. In your own words, what's the collaboration? What is GFIL? How does this work? And how's Cranfield University involved?
Thank you so much for having us today. This is a very exciting project that we've been working on together. GFIL, or Green Future Investments Limited, approached Cranfield University by now more than 3 years ago and said, how can we support more technology in the green space and help business accelerate and grow? And as a result, 3 funds were set up. The Future Frontiers Fund, which is for blue sky ideas that otherwise might never see the world, to get funding up to £10,000 to help them accelerate and grow. And this leads to a pipeline called what we call the Technology Accelerator Fund, which is further down the technology readiness level, to help them accelerate and grow. And this is a little bit more money available to them because they are further down the development line. And the final piece is the Entrepreneurship Fund, which is a seed fund to help businesses then to commercialize and take it to market. We're really fortunate to work together, really enjoyed it. And I'm sure during the conversation, Zoe, we can tell you a little bit more about the impact that we have created to date.
Brilliant, thank you. So this sounds really exciting. Are there particular criteria for those that are applying or trying to access these funds? How does that work?
Shall I take on the first one? So for the Future Frontiers Fund, it's open to a very, very wide range of people. As long as you've got an exciting idea that's going to reduce our impact on the environment or help mitigate climate change, you can apply. So we've got individuals, we've got young students with bright ideas, we've got academics, startups, and SMEs who perhaps have a new idea that they want to commercialise. So that's open to all. For the second fund, again, all you have to have is a business at that stage because they're a bit further down the development pathway, and so we expect them to have a business. And then again, you need a technical barrier that we can help you overcome and accelerate that progress towards commercialisation.
Okay, so it's not just restricted to the university and the university members?
Absolutely not. This is UK-wide. In fact, for the Technology Accelerator Fund, we welcome applications from international companies, provided they're happy to spend some time with us. So one of the most beneficial things from that fund is that the awardees come onto campus, they work with us really closely, and they get that collaboration.
Wonderful. So the startup of this collaboration is a little bit different in that our investor company actually approached you to set up this rather than the university sometimes reaching out to its partners. James, would you like to tell us a little bit as to how this came about?
Certainly. So we recognised that there was support in the individual stages. There wasn't a fund that we knew of that would take an invention in the shed through to an investment ready innovation. So we identified that's where we wanted to be. We wanted to have that continued relationship. We recognised the benefit of partnerships, and we wanted to continue that relationship from the brain spark through to the more viable, to then being able to say good luck and off you go. My children are fledged. So it's that's where we found ourselves, and then from there we started looking at how innovations were supported. We came across the Earthshot Fund in its first year and said, right, the winners are great, but what about all the others? Because there will be some bits in there that aren't recognised. And so we basically saw that Cranfield was a nominator, with the intention actually of looking at Earthshot specifically. And then through the dialogue and conversations with Cranfield University, and the want to support the inventor in a shed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We came up with the design of the three funds plus a few other bits, which we'll touch on further down the conversation.
Maybe just to add on it, which actually was really exciting for us, is when GFIL approached Cranfield. Cranfield has always been very close to business and business-like, and we had sort of two areas. We've always been working on scaling technologies, and we've been working on scaling businesses. And actually, when GFIL approached it, we thought, what a wonderful opportunity to bring actually all these different pieces of the puzzle together to show the beautiful picture, which is scaling technology, scaling businesses, and working with an external partner who is, like us, really passionate about creating solutions to world problems which are linked to the environment. So I think that was really powerful, and I think still excites us today.
It does, absolutely. Every content in my inbox is fantastic. There's more news coming. It's about the impact that these innovations can have. So if you're already commercially viable, you're filling a niche that's already there, then fantastic. But there are innovations which are massively impactful towards climate change or GHG sequestration or retention or mitigation, etc. That we can look at those for their impact benefit rather than looking at the commercials.
Yes.
And hopefully then drill out the commercials through Cranfield's expertise as part of the Technology Acceleration Fund, and then having the Bethany Centre take the business model and make it perfect.
And I think that's something that's just been really, really powerful for the people wanting to apply, is that we're not interested in taking their IP. We don't require match funding for them. This is really focused on supporting people that we think have an impactful idea in the climate mitigation space or environmental.
And that's really important, I think, when we think that this category is about sustainability and not commercialisation.
Yeah.
That actually having the bare bones of an idea, amazing as well to be inspired by the Earthshot prizes and then going, how could we do something different, is really exciting. I suppose other question, I suppose I can see why Cranfield would do this, but James, why would you get involved in this project? What's in it for your Green Future Investments Limited?
That's a very good question, because the easy answer for us is impact and fun. They're the two bits that we talk about regularly. So it's a philanthropic fund, and it's the directors of Green Future Investments have long been involved in sustainable practices. So it's a new sector to us, the philanthropic part, but it's not new to Green Future Investments' history to supporting green technology. What do we get out of it? Simply the joy of seeing partnerships develop, being involved in accelerating innovations that would not have the opportunity previously, and then nurturing the partnership and seeing Cranfield University grow, Green Future Investments position grow as well. It's a holistic piece. We're not, as we mentioned, we're not looking for the IP. We're not necessarily looking for that investment return. It's actually about building a better future.
It's really interesting when you see an investor and a HEI or HEP wondering how your values and your mission aligns. Did you find that was quite easy, or have you had to navigate some conflict between the mission?
From our point of view, Cranfield universities already have the schools of the environment, water and energy, and so they were already in that space. We already recognised that they were supporting environmental change. So fundamentally, the decision for Cranfield University wasn't just those; it was actually about the applied research. And so the fact that you invite them into Cranfield University, wrap your arms around them, and make sure that it works. I mean, the success rate so far, and we'll get to that in a moment, has been phenomenal. We were looking at a low double-figure success rate, and wait till this conversation develops.
Okay.
I think you're absolutely right, because as Steffi said before, we are very focused on implementation of ideas. Our academics are fired up by that motivation of seeing their research and the research of people we support get into the real world. So it wasn't a big leap for us either. It was definitely something that came very naturally. And then Steffi's side, bringing in the entrepreneurship, well, that's totally related to how these businesses flourish as they go forward. So we brought all sides together, I think.
It was an easy fit.
Yeah, it just feels really exciting, and that actually there's a really amazing camaraderie between you all. How closely do you work together on a sort of day-to-day, week-by-week, month-by-month basis?
Depends on where we are in relation to the funds.
Okay.
Leading up to them, it's like every hour.
Okay.
But there is a cooling off period, and they get to not have me in there on their campus.
Okay,
But yeah,
lovely.
we work. I mean, certainly we do.
And
Yeah.
that's something that's evolved over the
Yeah,
3 years of the
it has,
partnership,
yeah.
isn't it?
Okay.
We've become definitely closer, and James in particular is now involved in our evaluation process, which is really important, so that we remain completely aligned as to who it is that we want to fund.
That adds to the fun bit for us as well. You know, seeing the qualification process, the criteria, and being involved in that.
Yeah.
So year one, we were, you get on with it, and we'll have to
Yeah.
look at it. And then the intrigue was overwhelmed me. I said, no, we want to be part of this. We were part of it for a lot more.
And very exciting and proud achievement to see things coming to fruition at the other end and
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
successful in their own right following the support. So that leads me on to, I suppose, asking around impact, and this collaboration, you on the sofa, seems very positive. What have been the outputs from the project?
Do you want to lead that?
I'll start on that. Please chip in. So we've got sort of data now on our first 2 years. We're in the third year now, but we've looked in particular at the first 2 years. And in terms of numbers supported, we've had over 50 innovators supported. They were chosen from more than 380 applications now. That's grown over the years. So that's shown that the demand is there, but also the profile has improved over the years, or at least our reach has improved. And from that, we've looked at the follow-on funding, both investment and grants, that all our awardees have managed to obtain, and that now tops 20 million. So, I mean, we're not responsible for that, but we're an important part of the jigsaw, and we really enable them to go forward with validation and with support to get that level of funding. We've also found that the awardees in total have taken on 44 new hires in that 2-year period, which I think is another phenomenal demonstration that those companies are really going somewhere and doing really well. And the last one is that we measure TRL, technology readiness levels. That's not a precise science, but it gives us an indication of how they're going along that technology development pathway. And the majority of our awardees have moved not just one, nearer 2 TRL levels a year after their projects with us, which again is a really, that shows the acceleration that we're having on their commercialisation.
And that's quite a nice quantitative measure, isn't it? The TLR levels in terms of comparison with a point of entry. And
exactly,
kind of
and it's a good relative measure. Yeah.
I mean, with the seed fund, maybe to add is, so the seed fund, I guess, is the organizations which are furthest down the level who are now raising funding. So the idea behind the seed fund is we provide them with what we call a convertible loan. And then once they raise more funding in the future, we get converted into equity. And the idea then is hopefully if this makes money, it goes back into the pot and we can help more businesses also in the future. So it becomes kind of an evergreen fund. And we had now nearly 50% of the investees in the seed fund have converted, which means they have raised a follow-up round, which also there's no guarantee for success, and the jury is still out whether they will fly and they will be the next big unicorns that everybody talks about, but they are on a very good journey there. And none of the businesses actually have gone bust, which in current times, when you look at high-risk capital, is also a success in its own right.
So there's almost a self-sustaining element to this as well over time.
That's the idea,
which is
behind it.
fantastic. Which will then mean, what would that mean then for your input?
Well, yeah, I think the future of the program is certainly short term, looking at how we can continue beyond the third year. But I think the evergreen model for us is that it leverages other parties to follow suit. Now, there might be that it's multiples, it might be that it's crowdfunding, or it might be that another financial institution says, we'll take that over, on the basis that for us it needs to remain that philanthropic start. And then we all have a collective option halfway through or towards the end to say, let's stay together forever. But certainly that's the design. We're talking and looking at what years 4, 5, 6, 7 might look like, but with the design that there needs to be something fed into there that that will leverage. Well, I say needs to. It will. I think we're already being approached about it, and I'm sure Cranfield University are being approached about other opportunities as well. So that's where we see it. This is that it becomes self-sustainable.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Really amazing model for others to take on board as well. So some fantastic achievements there, but I wonder what you're taking from this project. So if you're talking to your friends and families and you say, this is something I'm involved in, what's your proudest moment? So if I start with Juliet.
It's a huge privilege. I think James has touched on it, but actually it's talking to these innovators with their incredible ideas. And the world's a bit bleak some of the time, and actually getting up in the morning and being inspired, especially the younger generation coming through and being so passionate about doing something to help. That's what I take from it.
It's there's no one singular piece that, as Juliet said, it is the collective, but it's seeing an innovator being able to work with an international net zero scholar, then developing a technology idea, which is happening. These aren't the vision, these are the reality, and that's the takeaway. Is just seeing these great minds and this great institution being given the freedom to do what they need to do to be able to bring forward innovation. So it's not a cop out, not picking one individual, because they're all they are genuinely, they're all fabulous. But it is that partnership piece which is what the award is.
I think I can echo only what my dear colleagues have said. I think the other bit for me is it's allowed us actually to work across the university much closer together. And often at university level, especially management, technology or engineering is very separate. But this is now an initiative that brings the best of all of these pieces together with an outside funder who is passionate about and has the same values than us. And to me, that's also be another, on top of everything that was said, has been really rewarding and has strikes and bonds and has created, I think, the impact that we have achieved.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I suppose there's a flip side to all of this positivity, and I imagine even over this, relatively short period of time this has been running, there have been challenges that you've come up against and difficulties in getting this off the ground. I wonder if you can think of one of those challenges and just expand on that a little bit more and tell us. Just it's helpful for other people thinking about setting up projects and understanding those need for resilience. So just anything you can think of that's been kind of your biggest challenge.
I mean, for us, the only challenge was so far was at the very beginning, and that was identifying who we would work with, and that was until we knew of Cranfield University. So our challenges were very quickly resolved right at the very beginning.
Done. Lovely.
So I think the knowledge exchange team, which I'm part of, was really brought in to kind of operationalise the vision. So I think the challenges we faced were nothing more than you would face in setting up any new programme. And with such a helpful partner, they were fairly minor. But for example, we have tweaked and evolved the processes over the 3 years to make it more streamlined and a bit simpler. I think one of the things we thought hard about was getting the application questions exactly right, to tease out the answers that we needed in order to do the evaluation. And that took a little bit of tweaking, and I think we have that down to a T now, but you need the experience of getting the responses before you can get it absolutely right. So, but yes, that's a normal challenge that I think one would face.
I think the last for me is maybe typical of a new project is internal communication. So to get everybody involved and everybody aligned, and not only with the external partner and the comms with getting all these wonderful entrepreneurs and innovators applied to us, but getting everybody internally signed up. And I think what has helped is having someone who committed 3 years is actually, we knew there is a journey, and now of course people have heard about it, and winning like this award has helped immensely because everybody is proud at Cranfield that we have achieved this, but this has made it a wider, it helped communicating it out to all the different departments and get more buy-in.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I think people underestimate how long it takes to communicate new initiatives and what you're doing, whether it's small, whether it's large. I wonder, over the 3 years, what's the change in application rates? So I know we talked about where we are now, but kind of year on year, what's the growth been like?
So we started off, year 1 was around 35, 40. Okay. Year 2 was around 45, 50. And year 3 we hit 70, 65, 70. Okay. So that's that's quite steady growth, I think. I
Yeah,
hope we can
absolutely
maintain
quite
it.
significant in the third year, but kind of
Yeah.
that 3 years to then really.
And
yeah.
it was a consequence of being able to describe it better and reach out to more people, but also word of mouth spreading,
Yes.
no doubt, from the awardees themselves and from our colleagues and other networks.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. James, I know obviously we would talk about funding for all of these projects, and some of our projects are government funded, UKRI Research England supported, lots of funds that exist out there. Obviously you are involved in the funding of this. Can you tell us any more about how that works without getting into huge detail?
It's pretty simple, really. There's a pot of money, and these guys spend it. No, it is purely philanthropic from the outset,
Okay.
and the purpose drives us all back to what we've mentioned all before, that it was about making an impact. It's about supporting that. So, if there is a future for us with an initiative, then fabulous. We'd like to talk about that, and then that would support the continued reinvestment as opposed to paying off a bunch of shareholders or something like that. So, it is a gift that is hopefully is going to be part of the feel good factor. Is the look what that's done, as opposed to what's it going to do for us.
So does this gift
Yep.
sit within a wider kind of funding structure that your organisation has, just to put it in?
Yeah, we have different sectors that we support. So this is the green technology piece, and green technology could be perceived to be things, but actually there are nature-based solutions within green technology support as well. We do have a nature-based solutions initiative, but that's in a separate capacity. So this is broad church. This is not just about supporting renewable technology. It's not about battery technology or aviation or anything like that. It's about if without giving some of the innovations away, literally you don't know what you're going to read in the next application, which is fabulous.
Yeah, very exciting. You get to see it first as well, don't you, if you're part of the funding, which is great. Lovely, thank you. That's really, really helpful. I'd like to touch on the awards. Obviously, you were the Sustainability Collaboration Award winner for 2024. What made you enter the KE Awards?
I think for us it's a wonderful and I think initiative to show the wider community actually what we have done, and we thought that this award is a great platform to do that, but also not only externally, it's also internally, because it's an award is a wonderful way to celebrate achievements and to make the whole team, because I mean the three of us are sitting here today, but of course there are lots of other people involved behind the scenes, so to bring everybody together and have an award that we can share and say actually we made this difference, and that acknowledgement was a big part of it. And I think with the knowledge exchange and being the glue that brings us all together, it was absolutely a perfect fit.
Yes, and I think, as you mentioned earlier, that the fact that you were celebrating a partnership was it just chimed so well with us, because we have this amazing partnership. So it was a bit of a different award that felt like it really worked for what we were trying to achieve.
Really resonated.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. And I think the point of this today and as building this case study is to just give people more access to what this looks like, so they can read a little bit more about it and understand it in the detail, which obviously the award winners celebrated with a video this year, which was a great way to celebrate entries, but quite short and probably doesn't go into all the nuances of how your project works. So thank you. The last thing I'd like to ask is for anyone else that might be thinking about submitting for the KE Awards, what would you say to them?
Do it.
Do it.
I nearly got my Arnie impression then. But exactly. So we have a vision that it's going to carry on, and so this isn't a hurrah. This is a hooray. Let's keep on going.
Yeah.
Point of contact, you're looking at them. Let's get applications in. Let's get people talking. And even if it's another institution that's looking to replicate this, this is the initiative has got the IP. We'd love it to be adopted in other capacities as well. But it is about that long term. That it's not just visiting a short investment period. It's about looking at it from the beginning right the way through to the end.
Mm.
So that's quite interesting. So James, would you be open to talking to anyone if they wanted to get into contact as to how this model works, how they could approach it?
I like talking, so please don't.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, anyone out there, that's just something on offer. Wonderful. The last thing is, I think you've been able to express these already, but what do you feel are the benefits of being an award winner for your collaboration, for your initiative, or just for the wider university?
Yeah, it's endorsement of something we felt was good, but when you present it to other people and they say, "Oh, that really is interesting," that's just a fantastic boost and helps us to build more going forward, I think.
Yeah.
The recognition for us that the original concept has got weight and traction, and it's proving that it's got that. So let's get others doing it as well.
And it is wonderful to see, I know you're here, James, today, but to see one of the partners, because obviously we're a membership organisation, we see lots of our members, but it's actually really wonderful to see the industry partners, the funders, the other collaborators that get involved with these projects. So thank you for coming today as well. So whilst also discussing the projects for our 2024 KE Award winners, I also thought I'd take the opportunity to speak to our members about CPD and the benefits of being a member of Knowledge Exchange UK. What I'd like to understand is what do you see as the benefits of being a member of Knowledge Exchange UK?
So it's my team that primarily benefit from that. So it's all around peer-to-peer networking and exchange of best practice, not reinventing the wheel, learning from others who've been through the same problems as yourself. So we've attended the conference regularly over many, many years. I was speaking to other team members this morning, and we've taken part in your KE leadership program. That went down very well. So I think it's knowledge exchange is around talking to people and around getting ideas across and supporting others taking forward. So that networking element is absolutely vital. So that's something we definitely benefit from.
Yeah, it really resonates. And I suppose at a time right now where it's very difficult, we've got lots of challenges within the sector itself, competency and the ability for KE teams to possibly deliver more results with less resource is a constant struggle. So building competency is really important. What do you think are the future challenges or skills gaps that we might need to address if we're looking forward sort of to the next 5 years, do you think?
Specific skills is hard to say. I think a message I received was that it's important to make training available to all levels of individuals. So maybe the more senior individuals are quite well catered for. I think those coming in early, younger to the world, perhaps need more opportunities to access training as well. So that was something that we felt could be perhaps made more accessible.
Wonderful. Well, we were talking about communication earlier, and we struggle sometimes with the same, that we develop new CPD, new offer, try and put that out, and actually it takes several years for people to go, oh, that course, that's the course everybody does. And some of our older courses, fundamentals in technology transfer, essentials of business development, are well known and well embedded. But a new programme, just to answer that, because I might, is we do have an induction for new to KE professionals. Perfect. So that is a 6-month long commitment to doing some training around the essentials and fundamentals of KE, and a mentor is assigned to those individuals as well for a 6-month period. So we are listening to our members and designing those, but I think you're absolutely right, future-proofing and making sure that those coming into the sector are retained and equipped really well to make a really positive impact early on. So it's really, really useful, especially in such times of challenge.
Indeed.
But thank you. I think that's been a wonderful conversation. I don't know if there's anything you feel you've missed that you would like to add, anything we haven't covered that you hope to, but I think there was a wonderful exploration of this fantastic sustainability collaboration, and it's been wonderful to have you all here with us. So Juliet and Stephanie from Cranfield, and James, thank you very much from Green Investment Fund Limited.